Hey everybody, wow. This I think is a beautiful story. And hopefully you can find some motivation in it. So why is he on the screen? This man learned to read at age 18. Yeah, learned to read at age 18. And he became Cambridge University's first, or the youngest ever Black professor. In case you didn't hear part,
maybe I couldn't speak and I couldn't converse.
And in case you didn't hear part A, just gonna do a quick recap, okay? He really faced adversity. Okay? So check this out.
I always felt it was a privilege to have a period of 11 years where maybe I couldn't speak and I couldn't converse in the way that everyone else could, because it allowed me to see things in a different way.
Professor Jason Arday was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder at the age of 3. He couldn't speak until he was 11 and read or write until he was 18. Throughout his early years, his parents continued to believe in him.
At 18, my mum had got to a point where there was only so much she could do, and she was brilliant, even though she had this belief that, he'll do something okay, but she was just decided, I need someone else to believe in him as much as I believe in him.
Therapists predicted he would need full-time assistance throughout his life. How wrong they were.
You okay?
It was this man, college tutor Sandro Sandri, who helped teach Jason to read and write at 18.
So diagnosed at age 3, could not speak until age 11. Learned to read at age 18. His parents believed in him and kept pushing. Can you imagine how challenging that would be? Your child cannot speak till age 11, can't read. But yet and still, somehow they believed in him and kept pushing their child. So what's the excuse for some children who are reading way below reading level, especially in the U.S.? How do we have high school students, 15, 16 years old, in high school, and the reading levels are at kindergarten, elementary school level? It has a lot to do with the foundation. And the foundation, my friend, does not start at the school. The foundation, it starts at home. Both his parents kept pushing. They didn't just give up on him. That's something I can't imagine. 11 years old and can't speak. 18, now learning how to read. Kept on going. You have to have what? Man, you got to have discipline. You have to have some major discipline. You have to. A tutor at 18, continue on, and this isn't like, oh, I'm going to read an hour a day, in my opinion.
I'm just so happy for him.
That's the tutor speaking.
To be honest, but I never doubt a moment they will achieve where he is.
Sandro would spend hours of his free time teaching Jason.
There's one thing you said to me which I never forgot, and it was when I was 22, and I said to you I was thinking about doing a PhD, and you said to me, it would be the greatest story in the world if the kid who didn't know how to read and write was managed to get a PhD.
Discipline, again, it starts with the foundation. And the foundation is the home life. So why do we have so many children that can get the basics of reading? Check the foundation. You cannot blame the teachers, the community, the administrators. That could play a part. But again, the foundation. The reason some of these kids can't get it together is that the foundation and home life is not together. Single parent, some kids, one single parent working, heaven forbid, more than one job, and then the kids just basically doing what they want. Go to school, parent not that involved. What about the report card? Okay, maybe you can't attend the PTA meetings. I don't even know if they even have that. But you mean to tell me, with all this internet online, you can just every now and then have your child to read with you, check the report cards? You mean to tell me that you don't know how to pick up the phone and maybe just check in with the teacher for your child's progress? The report cards may say one thing, because see, the school, that's a business. Why do you think they have reports of a student being in jail, but he's still on the roll? That's a business. They're getting tax dollars. They pay so much money per student. Understand? Why do we have 23 schools where the kids are not proficient in math or reading in Baltimore? I doubt everyone has a dyslexia or a diagnosis that this man had. I doubt that. It's discipline or the lack thereof. The lack thereof. So why did he get this far? Foundation, mom and dad, family unit working together. Persistent. Persistence is key. Being very persistent. So the youth running around, not being able to read, the youth committing crimes. They just had two 15-year-olds arrested in a carjacking. 15 years old. I wonder about their reading comprehension levels. What kind of foundation produces that? A destroyed foundation that's not mentally sound. What kind of parent has that kind of child? A parent that's checked out, a parent that does not care. And I'm willing to bet you one parent just not there. So look what can be achieved. And I found it interesting when he said about in silence that he couldn't, he couldn't speak, and he was able to, I guess, to see things that people couldn't see. And sometimes silence is what's needed. That's why when I made the comment that I wish some Black women could just take 6 months off from you, maybe not even 6 if you're a mom. But if you could just do 3 months, make sure the kids are on a safe foundation. Go travel someplace, and if you could work remote, drown out all the noise. If you could work remote or a chance to travel, drown out all the noise. That's why me time is important. And just think. Get away from the familiar environment, because there's a thing called, hypnotic rhythm. And when I see things like, hey, why is this happening? Why the women keep making these decisions about the men? Why the men making these decisions? A thing called hypnotic rhythm, where you're in a community, you're in an environment, and what everyone else does, you're in that community, and guess what? It explains things, which it's very difficult, but it explains things. That becomes a norm. Baby mama, baby daddy becomes a norm. Broken families become the norm. Trying to build a family or a house with a cracked foundation, a dysfunctional foundation, that's the norm. And that's why we can't solve problems, because everybody's doing the same thing. That's what you're around. That's what you see. But sometimes you have to see something differently. So look what these parents were able to push this man to do. couldn't talk till he was 11. Many of us would have been giving up on him. Couldn't read until he was 18. Hours in tutoring. Then at 22 decides he wants to pursue a PhD. This is extremely challenging. My opinion, most people couldn't handle it. I don't know if I could. 11 years old, can't talk. Most would have just checked out or accepted just a menial existence for him, but they kept pushing. Learns to read at 18. So this lets me know in closing, for all the young people running out here, wow, the parents that are checking out, for the men that want to complain about all single parent household, well, sir, why don't you come and pick up your sons? Come and pick up your children, and I challenge you to do a much better job or get things under control. Make sure your children can read. Male or female, it makes no sense that the children in the inner cities cannot read. It makes no sense. Can the parents read? But that lets you know, hard thing to say, it lets you know where your priorities are, and the children aren't it. It speaks volumes. This lets me know where your priorities are. And the kids are not the priority. It's not. So this is very inspiring. It's also very telling. It says a lot about his family in the background. And now look, a professor at Cambridge. So we talk about a lot of things on this channel, and some of these stories are not so, hey, yippee, hooray, all, rainbows and, sunshiny and all Skittles. It's not all that. But you have to have the conversation, and then you have a story like this here. This lets you know that a lot of adversity can be overcome. A lot of it can be overcome. But, A, are we willing to have the conversation? B, are we willing to admit the mistakes were made and what we're doing is wrong? And C, the biggest one, are we willing to take some corrective measures? So for all the men, that was a single parent household. Well, are you willing to go and pick up your children and show the mother the way to do it? Because she's obviously doing it wrong. What's your contribution? Are you contributing to the success of your children, or are you contributing to the failure of your children? And it speaks volume about you. I don't care how many pretty clothes you put on the outfits. This right here, this man, his family stand the course, his mother and father, it speaks volumes. It lets you know the character of those individuals. It lets you know they take pride in themselves. So when you have the opposite, it speaks volumes about the parents. Parents don't care. Been checked out. The parent, that's their DNA. So this here, heartwarming story, this let you know what can be accomplished. Again, my opinion, it starts with the foundation. Let me know what you all think. Beautiful story. Oh, inspiring. This here in the inner cities, it doesn't have to be. But I'm going to tell you, with the reading, with the educational crisis, with the schools, with the kids and the behavior, these kids are not grown. How they act and behave, that grooming, it starts in the home. Thanks for watching. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, and share. Simply Said on YouTube, and I'm out.